This is the data model, and we have several tables here. 311 Little Rock, Arkansas service request table, and also calendar table and a population table. The relationships are there between these tables, and there are also two disconnected tables. We have measures living in the separate table, measures table, and also dynamic parameter. And if we go to the population table as shown here, and you can see there are two columns, year and population. What I was thinking is we already have a measure, a number of complaints, and we also have population. So I was thinking that we create a simple measure, name it as per capita, and that way we have a new way of looking at the data. So this is the report page, new report page. Let us try to go to the measures table, and let us create a measure step by step. Right click, new measure. Let me increase the size so that you can see the code here. Let us try to name the measure as complaints per unit of population equal to, we will use the divide function. For the numerator, we will pass the number of complaints. For the denominator, since we already have the population, we can use the sum and pass the population column here. And we can close the parenthesis for divide. And there is also a multiplier. For now, we will put 1 as a multiplier. And like I said, we can create per capita. So per capita is a Latin phrase meaning by head. So if we name this measure per capita, then the unit must be 1. We're just going to keep like that. Suppose you want per 100 people, per 1,000 people. So you multiply the this code by 100, 1,000, 10,000, and so on. So when you kind of mention this ratio, you have to tell that, hey, if you say per capita, it is 1, unit is 1. You can say that if you're calculating for 1,000 people or 100 people, you have to say complaints per 1,000 people. And the multiplier also should be accordingly. So the formula is x equal to value by population multiplied by unit. It's a very simple calculation. And this calculation will give you the per capita. So let us try to understand that part. And I've also highlighted, we can pause the video and look at it. We'll commit to it and we can make all the format changes. Let us try to make sure that it is a decimal number. And you can increase the number of decimal places to 2 or 3 or 4, depends on your requirement. And let us try to create another measure. And since we already have these details like complaints per unit per population, let us try to calculate prior month per unit. Let us try to use the calculate function. For the expression, already we just created this measure, so let us pass that for the expression. And for the filter condition, let us try to use the previous month function. It expects a date, so let us try to add the calendar date and close the parenthesis. This way we get the prior month per unit details, right? So that is a measure exactly what we want, and we can commit to it. And same way we can change the formatting to decimal number, and in case if you want the number of positions, you can increase it to 4 and commit to it. Once we have done these two things, created measures, it's a pretty simple way for us to calculate the percentage per unit month over month change as shown here. It's a pretty simple measure, and commit to it. So we have 3 measures ready, and you can make the formatting changes also. And once we have that, let us try to create a table visual, and I've already done that. We have the month, year, and all the 3 measures have passed to this table visual. And in case if you scroll down, you can see all the changes. You have your complaints per unit of population, prior month, and also the percentage per unit month over month change. So it's a pretty cool way, I think. And I've used a play access visual, so you can download that from the app source, and you can just download that. And this is the I've kind of updated the report page. I've added this play access here, and the month year is coming from the calendar table, and also the table visual we have already seen. Those are the 4 columns which we have added: month, year, all the 3 measures which we have just created, and also there is a card visual on the right, and where the number of complaints are passed to it. So that way, whenever the play access visual is working, you can see all those values changing. And the bottom, you can see a matrix, and you can see those values I've passed for the rows, the date, which is coming from the calendar table, and I've added the issue type for the columns, and also for the values, number of complaints. And I've made all the formatting changes based on your needs. You can make all the changes. So I've added all those background color and all, right? If you click on FX, you can see just like that. It looks like a heat map or something. So I just wanted to make sure that there is some kind of color inside the matrix visual. So it's pretty cool. So I think once we highlight that play axis, you can make all the formatting changes. I've changed the time to 3000 from default, and I've added all the colors, enabled that toggle button, and you can make all the animation settings changes. So like I said, if you click on the play button, and every time the month changes in the play axis, so all the values also will change in the three visuals. So it's a pretty cool way. It gives you animated effect sort of, right? So that is pretty cool, I thought. And the beauty of this play axis visual is that you can pause it, you can fast forward, you can go back to the previous value. So it's pretty cool, like as shown here. So automatically all the values are being changed, and we have calculated per capita. And like I said, you can pause the play axis, you can go forward like shown here, and all the values will change. So in case if you want to identify a particular month, you can identify by using the play axis buttons, fast forward and backward. So that way you can see all the months, month by month also you can see. Or by default, automatically all the values will change. It will scroll through all the months which are available in the data. So it's a pretty cool way to look at the data. Everything seems to be working perfectly, but whenever you're creating report pages, you have to be careful about certain things. Though the values are changing based on the play axis, these values are wrong. They are not correct. The reason is, as highlighted here, these values are wrong. The reason is when we created the relationship between the calendar table and the population table, the cross filter direction was single. We have not made it as both direction. So let us try to go back to model view. Let us try to fix that. Let us click on that properties and make the changes to both. So once we do this, the values will be correct. So let us go back to the report page. These values are correct. So this is the population table, and we have created the relationship, and the cross filter direction, we have changed it to both. So let us try to go back to the population table, and these are the values for October 2016, 7938 complaints divided with population 2016 will give you 0.0399. And if we bring in the third party calculator here, and let us try to bring that way we can verify, right? It's a sanity check. So enter those values, appropriate fields, and these values seems to be correct. So our calculations are correct. So these are some of the things which we need to look at when we are creating report pages. Though everything visually is appealing, but the values might be wrong. So these are the things which we have to do when we are creating report pages. So now that we have done that, let us try to go back and kind of make changes, right? So for example, if your manager says, hey, you have calculated per capita, I want it per 1,000 people. Say for example, that is a new requirement. So all you need to do is change the unit to 1,000 and calculate it. So this is no longer a per capita, but this is per 1,000 people. So this is perfect. We have verified with the third party also. So this is a new way of looking at the data, and we have calculated per capita, and also we have changed it to per 1,000. So whenever we are using this ratio, we have to emphasize that this is per 1,000. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.